Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We're excited to be back. Unfortunately, scissorless salesmen all across the Baton Rouge area are traumatized right now. They're curious how they're going to send their kids to college with BrianKelly no longer there to send employees up them in hurricane force winds. But we persist. We're going to go over the BrianKelly firing. NCAA rules about betting might be put on pause after Greg Sankey commented on them. SEC is also permanently suspending refs now, which we're here for. We're talking about our bets, our mid teams, and a whole lot of shenanigans in between. So stick around. They're eating the dogs, Ciarnan, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the
you
dogs.
Know that?
If they were eating
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years will just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to this school. Recruits are going to see this.
You have, as some fans have put it, a mascot flashing their pop tussie out.
Oh, God, that's going to be part of our intro next year. Oh, shit.
I'm back, as always, with Ciarnan. Ciarnan, how are you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. Doing good. It's already the silly season of the coaching carousel, so let's get it underway.
That's fair. Unfortunately, for college football, it's always silly season when we're involved. So we're way ahead of the coaching carousel, but you are right. It is the silly season. We're seeing coaches fired left and right after it seemed, I don't want to call it a Cold War, but there was sort of a hiatus on firing coaches last year. A lot of guys who probably should have been fired stuck around a little bit longer. BrianKelly, the latest example of this. It was weird with how sudden it was, but also it didn't necessarily have to do with getting blown out by Texas A&M. There were arguments with the higher-ups at LSU, kind of who would have say on coaching hires. BrianKelly didn't want to make moves that the school wanted, so that's why this came together so quickly. But Ciarnan, what were your reactions? What was your reaction to this?
Good, because frankly, LSU is better off without BrianKelly. I think college football as a whole is better off without BrianKelly. And I was kind of, I wasn't really surprised at all. I was just like, yep, that sounds about right. I mean, it's a culmination, like you said, it's a culmination of a bunch of things, but I think those losses certainly didn't help.
Yeah, I mean, you could ignore a lot if he was winning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of really what it boiled down to. He was not winning, so they were getting rid of him. They're negotiating the buyout now. Initially was $54 million. I saw they were trying to get it down to $20 million. The governor of Louisiana, I think, said the state would pay some of it. You have boosters offering to pay it. Well, it's wild. College football in the South is something else. But I think, and a lot of people said this, and when this news first broke, my first reaction was, I have to record a video to post on the Belly Up socials. So go look at that. Also, go look at the graphics. I'm very proud of them. I think they're funny. But he never bought into LSU culture. And a lot of schools say that. They're like, well, we have a great culture. We need the coach back. 95% of schools know you do not have a culture. It does not matter. But LSU is one of those places where you really need to be involved in what, to LSU fans, makes LSU great. And Ed Orgeron has said this as well. A lot of other media people have said this. He never seemed to buy in outside of that fake Southern accent in an LSU basketball game. And like I said, if he was winning, you could ignore a lot of that. If he was super involved in LSU and he made people feel like he was one of them, I think a lot of it would also be overlooked. He probably would have more say in the coach. Like, well, you're very involved in LSU, so we're going to let you kind of have a little bit more control. Oh, you lost, that sucks. You'll get him next week. But it's kind of all three really didn't save him his job. I think you can have 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
You can either not win big games and kind of want a little more control, but be super involved. Or you can win a lot of games, and then really the rest doesn't matter.
Mhm.
But going 3 for 3 is really what kind of sealed it for Brian Kelly, and I'm happy. I think he's a piece of shit, and a lot of former players are too.
Oh yeah, that perfect segue into this because like that whole thing about the winning, you can ignore a great deal of crap that goes on if you're a winning coach. Once you start losing and you start losing like the support and the fan base and everything like that, the things that have come out of the woodwork since his firing on the past Sunday has been insane. It's like Malik Neighbors taking the TikTok video of him kicking rocks as an homage to "See You Later, Brian Kelly." Weeks posting the purple heart right after Brian Kelly's firing, and then all the things about like I've forgotten his name and I do apologize, but the LSU player who got brain cancer or he got a brain injury, I can't quite remember off the top of my head, but there was a thing about him, and like Brian Kelly didn't even check in. Like, yeah, the other coaches did and all that. That's great, but like this is a recurring thing from Brian Kelly, is that he doesn't care about his players and about anything other than the fact that they're either playing well and or winning. And it's just, you're just going like, wow, it's not that he's a bad coach, which he clearly is, but he's also just a bad person.
He really is, and I think being with anything that you're that in control of everything and you have to have this drive, I think every single coach at that level is kind of an asshole.
Yeah, but he really takes the cake.
But he took it to a new level. It was not any better than someone who was a lot nicer than him. And that's strictly on the field. Like Nick Saban on the field, he's kind of an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
But off the field, he's very much not. A lot of the great coaches are very similar. Dan Lanning's like that. Kirby Smart's like that. They will chew your ass out. And then the next day, they'll be like, yeah, no, that's cool. How's your mom? But a lot of players also, some kid at a camp said, or he was got an adult now, but he was at a camp, busted his knee, and Brian Kelly walked over, was like, "Get this guy the f out of here."
Yeah,
And the other coach said they were all great. Another player, same thing. He played for LSU, was really good, got injured. Brian Kelly didn't talk to him after. My favorite thing that came out of this, though, was a story about Brian Kelly on a recruiting visit when he was at Notre Dame. And Merriweather, the recruit, kind of said he came back in, sat down, acted like it was nothing. He was cool as a cucumber after taking a call. There were burnt ends. Kelly had like 3 servings. Then he left, and then they found out he was taking the LSU job. And I think that really just kind of sums up who Brian Kelly is as a person. He knew he was not going to be Notre Dame's coach. He knew he probably wasn't going to recruit this kid to LSU, and he decided, I'm going to get the food that I can get because these are some damn good burnt ends, and then I'm never talking to this kid again.
That's wild. What was the other one that the wide receiver out of I can't remember, but it was a recent wide receiver. I think the news just broke today, but he's like, after the Brian Kelly firing, he immediately committed to LSU.
That's awesome.
Like they don't have, as far as I'm concerned, as we're recording this, they don't have it. I mean, sure, they have an interim in place, but they don't have like a backup, head coach they're hiring full time. So it's like, oh, Brian Kelly's gone. Yeah, I'll definitely go to LSU. I don't care what happens after the fact.
But that's kind of the thing about LSU. It is one of those programs where you don't necessarily, as long as the coach isn't Brian Kelly, they will most likely figure it out. They have that desire to win football games. They will put resources into it. But yeah, no, it was. I wasn't shocked he was fired. I was shocked with how quickly it was like, hey, they're discussing this to, hey, we're firing him within like an hour.
Yeah. That was wild, but not surprised. But what I want to talk about really quickly, just segueing off this, is like winners and losers for college football as a whole, but maybe teams as well. So right off the bat, winners are college football as a whole. Brian Kelly's gone. Thank goodness. Hopefully he doesn't get hired, or maybe he does. That remains to be seen. Losers are LSU only because firing a head coach is often difficult midseason, and just as a general rule, it's kind of tough. Same thing with Penn State. Penn State's a loser in this situation, and there's a lot of like, who are we going to get? Cignetti signing a big contract. I suspect others are going to follow. But the other winner that I really want to point out is Lane Kiffin, because he's looking at all these jobs, Billy Napier, BrianKelly, James Franklin, and just going, my stock price is skyrocketing because not only am I a good coach, but they are shelling out top dollar for a head coach, essentially. So Lane Kiffin is a winner in this scenario.
100%. And another big winner here. Mm-hmm. And I would say, honestly, you said they're losers. I think LSU fans are the winners here.
Yeah, that's another deal with
BrianKelly anymore. They are a winner and a loser. Firing coach midseason sucks, but you got rid of BrianKelly. All these coaches' bank accounts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, huge winners here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their accountants, financial planners, they're all doing great.
Yeah, 10% of $56 million is still a lot. Another thing is winners, UAB. Trent Dilfer's gone as well.
Exactly. So, I'm also a winner because I am right.
Never wrong, just early.
Exactly. But why don't we go into real quick? We have more to talk about Lane, but who's going to replace BrianKelly at LSU?
Billy Napier.
That'd be so funny. I'm looking for like betting odds on this. There we go. Lane Kiffin is leading the pack at plus 317.
That's not surprising.
Which, not surprising. I think it is going to come down to Ole Miss, Florida, and LSU.
Yeah,
honestly, for him. John Sumrall at Tulane at plus 376. I tweeted, if LSU's smart, they're going to lock themselves in his home and ask, what will it take? And not leave until they get it done. They need to do what the Clippers did to DeAndre Jordan a few years ago. Just do not let him out of the house. Basically kidnap him in his own home until he agrees to come to LSU.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Marcus Freeman plus 733. He already said no.
Yeah, that would be
Florida and Penn State. So I don't think he would ever go to LSU.
Yeah, for Marcus Freeman, there's no reason to leave Notre Dame. Like, you are doing well. You've got a great staff around you. You've got a solid team. I wouldn't. If I was Marcus Freeman, I'd be staying put.
Yeah, and then both at plus 1,000. Basically, you have Joe Brady and Eli Drinkwitz. Brady, I could see. Drinkwitz, I could not.
Yeah, Joe Brady's name has been thrown around a lot. Like, he even got mentioned he's gotten mentioned for a lot, but the Franklin job or the Penn State job, the Florida job, I don't know if he's going to take it, though. I don't know if he's going to take a college job.
The only reason he would is because he was involved in that 2019 LSU team. He was the passing game coordinator for that team.
Yeah.
So that's why I can see it. And I think he has enough goodwill built up with fans where it won't be an immediate riot like everyone over the plus 1,000, I think, would be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's Jeff Brom out of Louisville, Bill O'Brien, BC, Matt Rule, Nebraska, obviously, and James Franklin. I think any of those guys, LSU fans are going to be pissed.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's really kind of the names I'm seeing, mainly Kiffin, Sumrall, and then James Franklin, just because he's available.
Yeah. James Franklin, I weirdly think would fit in better at Florida than he would at LSU. And that's pure gut. I have no logic, nothing behind it. It's just a weird sensation. That's it.
I think LSU, you need to go with vibes.
Yeah, James Franklin does not provide that.
No, and BrianKelly didn't either. I think James Franklin would fare better. I feel like he would work to become a little more ingrained to LSU, but I don't think it would be a great fit, and I think he'd have a short leash because of it. Coach O, bring back Ed Orgeron. Get this man a headset.
Seriously, it's so upsetting that he's not the head coach anymore. I'm just like, I get the whole why stepped away / let go / whatever. But like
he was fired.
It was fired. But bring him back. It's so totally worth it.
LSU, him back at LSU is the job I want him to take the second most. The job I want him to take the most is Oregon State, because then that's Orgeron State, and I love it.
Yes.
But with kind of Lane floating around here, the big discussion is he going to stay at Ole Miss? Is he going to go to LSU, or is he going to go to Florida? And what's your gut telling you, Karen?
For Kiffin, I think it's more he is going to use the Florida and the LSU jobs as leverage. I think so. The only one I could see him going to legitimately is LSU. I don't think he jumps ship to Florida. I think he's going to use the Florida job and the LSU job as leverage to see what he can get out of Ole Miss. And if Ole Miss isn't willing to cough up enough, he's just going to go to LSU. I also think that Ole Miss will put up a fight to keep him there. Like they'll go higher than they should, realistically, in terms of contract extensions, in order to keep him. But it will come, down the line. Hindsight's 50-50. You never know what the next 5 years is going to be like. So it's one of those toss-ups that Kiffin's just trying to pad his bank account. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, he's come out and said it's not about money, it's about fit. And I think Ole Miss is a great fit for him right now. I think he's kind of built that program. He has sort of the backing of the higher-ups. Ed Orgeron, and this is a very heavy Coach O episode, but he was talking about it and difference between Ole Miss and Florida. And he said, I love my time at Ole Miss, but when was the last time they won a championship? I think it was 1960. You're in Jacksonville. Put me in a Suburban, and we can drive an hour anywhere and find a couple All-Americans, which I feel like that's not necessarily something a lot of people are talking about. They're going, well, outside of Urban, Florida's not been great recently, and it's been 20 years since then. Nobody really remembers it. And LSU might have more recent success, but the money back. Florida, you can throw a rock and hit someone who's going to be a first-round draft pick.
Yeah. Yeah, he can.
It's a recruiting hotbed, and if you already are good at recruiting in Florida, that's a lot easier sell to their parents. Like, hey, we're in Gainesville.
Yeah.
Like, that's not that far.
It's accessible.
So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm very curious who the next coach fired is. I'm not sure. I think it's just going to be Norvell after the season.
Yeah.
For like big name ones, like UMass is probably going to fire their coach, but that's
no
one
but
cares.
It's small
it's
potatoes.
UMass. But Deion actually has some thoughts on this, on all these coach firings. We haven't really talked about Deion this year because Colorado sucks, but he said it's unfortunate about all these hirings. It's no one patient in the world. How do we exude patience when we could call up right now and get a pizza delivery right here? You could call and get a ride waiting outside for you. Everything is expeditious in this country. Everyone wants the quick fix, the quick things. You've got mail order brides. You could get married right away. You could get a BBL. You could come in here flat and leave thick as a Snicker. So this is a different country that we live in. Ain't nobody got no patience no more. I understand that. I don't either. I don't have patience. And it's kind of went like that. I wasn't going to read the whole thing, but goddamn, those are some bars.
Truly.
A real poet. This is not a patience issue. BrianKelly has been there for a few years. Billy Napier was in year 4. James Franklin was there for 12 years.
Yeah.
Trent Dilfer, yeah, he was there for like 2-3 years, but he sucked.
Yeah.
So I don't think this is a patience thing, and I'm big on schools fire coaches way too quick. This is not those situations. Penn State reached their zenith with James Franklin in 2016, and it's just been a slight drop and then plateauing and then dropping some more. Billy Napier never really figured it out. BrianKelly just sucks, both as a human being and a coach. And Trent Dilfer just sucks as a coach and a media member. I don't know about him as a person.
Yeah, and that was one of the big things with when Penn State fired James Franklin, because it was like, I don't want to call it the first big firing because you had the Virginia Tech and UCLA prior to that, but it was one of the I guess the keystone firings that we've seen so far. And it's one of those things. It's like, oh, Penn State didn't have patience to wait out the season. It's like, it wasn't about this season. It was about the 12 plus years, or rather the 11 plus years, going on 12 this year, that he's been there, and we've nearly got it, but never. It was just never enough. And it was one of those things. It's like, oh yeah, 3 points in this game goes the other way, Penn State has a national championship, sure, but it actually didn't happen. So all your hypotheticals are irrelevant. We need a new coach.
Yeah, it's sometimes, when someone has to go, they have to go.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and I just said it, but I'm very against, firing a coach too quickly. But some schools have also really screwed themselves by keeping a coach too long.
Mm-hmm.
The Patriots did that. But, it's let's see where what they do with this opening. Let's see if they hire the right person, or at the very least, don't hire the wrong person. I think that's what schools like LSU, UAB, and Florida should do. Just don't hire the wrong guy, because they really messed up the last round. Penn State, they need to be trying to hire the right guy, not just, well, we can't mess this up. You had a stable presence. Swing big. Find someone who can get you to a national title, who can, at minimum, get you to beat Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah.
I would be expectations are higher, or should be higher, for Penn State, but I would also be a little more optimistic that they can get it right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also,
yeah, go on. Sorry.
I was just saying, LSU's athletic director needs to stop hiring coaches. Scott Woodward gave Jimbo his massive contract at A&M, and then
Yes,
BrianKelly. That's like $113 million, I think, was the final total buyout.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the governor of Louisiana said he won't be hiring the next head football coach. So,
yeah.
love that for LSU.
What's the sum total now for coaches fired and their buyouts? It's total this year is like 168 million, and it's just going to get worse. I think that's another thing that is going to happen, is like you're going to see lower and lower salaries, because the past 5 years with these massive clauses and these buyouts and all this crap, you're just going like, all right, guys, this is just too much, right? And it's not that the coaches, the value of the championship, it's not worth $56 million type thing. What you weigh against your TV deal rights, your playoff rights, all of these separate things, you're going to see a kind of contraction of the college football salary. I think you might see one or two more, specifically with Lane Kiffin, but I think after him, it's really going to start going downhill.
I think a national championship might be worth way more than $50 million to a school.
No.
Yeah,
that would actually be a really interesting analysis to do. Like, what is the overall profit gain from that economic?
Because you look at it, I think the school gets like $6 million just for winning.
Yeah.
The conference gets a little more prestige. They get more money when their next TV deal comes up. Depending on when the last time the school won the national title was, they get a massive influx of applicants and enrollment. They get more money from these students. They can renovate things on campus. They can hire better staff. I think it's well worth to pay these massive buyouts if it works out, or have the risk of it. I don't think we'll see lower contract values. I think those are just going to keep going up. I think we're going to start seeing language in contracts change and go, if you are fired, you are owed X% of whatever's left in your contract instead of a full buyout. Schools are going to try and do that instead, because the schools, it's worth it to them to pay all this money. If the coaching hire works out, it's just fear that it won't.
Yeah, that's a good point. There was that
But
rumor, just quickly before we go on, there was that rumor that Urban Meyer was in Central PA recently for some conference with a governor or a senator, I think, and everyone just started freaking out going, can Penn State get Urban Meyer? Like, what is this? What is this world?
I hope so. That'd be so funny.
That would be the funniest thing. I want them to announce this. Now, I know we often miss a lot of news on Thursday because of the day we record. If tomorrow we find out Urban Meyer is the head coach of Penn State right before the Ohio State game, would that not be the single funniest thing to have happened in college football? Just like the craziness of it.
That'd be so fun. And also, like 99% of coaches, if they was even a credible rumor about like, oh, he's going to go to his former rival, you go, no, that's not happening.
Yeah.
There's a 0% chance. If
I don't
any
think
coach were to do it, it'd be Urban.
Yeah, so I get that, but at the same time, I don't really think Ohio State considers Penn State a rival. They certainly consider Michigan a rival, but not Penn State.
Not their hated rival, but a rival.
A rival that exists.
Would you want Urban, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would. I'd take him in a heartbeat. As much as I think he's an ass, I would take him in a heartbeat.
You would take Urban Meyer in a heartbeat, no pun intended?
Yes. Yes, no pun intended, certainly.
Yeah, no, you're a broken man, Ciarnan.
I very much am.
Speaking of broken things, you have plenty going on. Just not from your college football fandom. It's fine. Speaking of broken things, though, the NCAA, they made an announcement a couple weeks ago. They were going to allow players to start betting on professional sports. And then you had a massive FBI raid where NBA player Terry Rozier was arrested for telling people to bet his unders and then leaving the game 9 minutes in. And head coach Chauncey Billups of the Portland Trailblazers also arrested for running an underground poker ring with the mafia. Since then, SEC Commissioner Greg Sankey has come out and said, maybe we don't do this because that is going in the wrong direction, and the NCAA has decided to put on pause allowing college players to bet on professional sports. This should never have been a thing in the first place.
Agreed.
So thank you, Terry Rozier and Chauncey Billups, for your sacrifice in allowing us to not have college athletes betting on these games.
Yeah, that would be the most wild thing to have. Like it's the same. Somebody said this recently. Betting and gambling was better when it was in a single city in the desert, and I could not agree more. Because like it's a contained, self-regulating system. Now it's just whoever has a few dollars can just do whatever they want. Like you had to make it an event to go to Vegas and bet $3,000. You know, like that was a thing. But now with like all this FanDuel and DraftKings and all this sort of stuff, I get it. It's fun. It like if you're not if you don't care about it all that much, it can be fun to throw a couple dollars and see if you win. But like it can get to the fact where it's becoming addicting. You're chasing a high. Like it's bad.
That's true. Vegas sucks though.
Oh, I'm not saying it doesn't suck. I'm just simply saying that
you want to gamble? You want to gamble? Let's go to a shitty city in the middle of the desert. No, let's not do that. Yeah. Thanks. No, I think I understand what you're saying. I think expanding betting to a certain point wasn't a terrible idea. They need to put some limits on how it's advertised, how often it's advertised. On Get Up this week, when they were talking about the Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier arrests, they had the ESPN Bets probe at the bottom. And they just slowly lowered it off screen.
Right. It's like how much more hypocritical can you be? Like it's wild.
It's wild. Betting can be fun, but it needs some stricter regulations and some tweaking.
Yeah. Speaking of bets, our Week 9 ones. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, I would debate doing this. this topic like right before that, but I was like, that will come across as very hypocritical. So we'll spread them out by a few segments
Yes.
just to be safe. But the SEC, also in the news, for permanently suspending referee Ken Williamson after the review of Auburn versus Georgia in his job officiating. Ciarnan, what are your thoughts on Ken Williamson's suspension?
Good. And not because it's him. I'm not directing this at him. It was a bad call, whatever. They've adjudicated it, suspended. Okay. But it's this type of consequence that should be enforced more than it already is, because we have seen time and time again where there are such blatant things that the casual viewer can see as wrong on a replay, and the ref will come out and say, oh no, it's actually this, and you're just like, it clearly isn't. So when the facts on the screen don't match the facts of the report or the foul or the call or whatever it ends up being, you're getting to the point where you're going, all right, well, if we can all tell it's wrong, how come he can't? He's trained to do this, or she's trained to do this. Why is it that we're having these discussions, in a bar, and we're like, okay, what are we seeing? Like, why is this happening? And it's one of those things that it's important for accountability for everyone, not just the referee. It's everyone should be affected by it.
Yeah, I'm very much pro shaming refs publicly at this point. I mean, it's gotten worse as time has gone on, which is shocking somehow. Because a few years ago, you probably went like, there's no way this could be worse. And refs everywhere said, oh, buddy,
Just you wait.
bet you it can. And it's so bad. So publicly shaming refs is good. I'm all for it. Suspend them, shame them, fine them, do something. Make it better. Be better refs, and then we won't hate you.
Mm-hmm. And not to sound conspiratorial, but like, there's a lot of betting sites that profit off of certain referees making calls, and now you have Chauncey Billups getting arrested for, or rather Terry Rozier getting arrested for doing the under, the exact situation that we're talking about, that we've been talking about for months, actually probably a year at this point, where you're going like, guys, this is really getting out of hand. We have to do something to rein it in. Like, it's the same thing, and it's not just college football. It's all sports.
Yeah, especially basketball. Basketball is a big problem with this. I don't know if we should be comparing other refs to the sport most widely associated with a ref betting scandal.
That is true. That is
Tim
unfair.
Donaghy specifically.
Yes, okay, that is an unfair comparison, I will grant you, but it's a slippery slope. Let's.
I don't necessarily disagree with your conspiracy theory, but there is one key point. If they were betting on these games, they would either need to become way better actors, or there's no way that they're betting, because no one can be this bad on purpose.
Oh, I see your point. Yeah. Okay. So they're just crap refs.
Yeah, they're just really bad refs. And that's okay in their day-to-day lives. It's not going to keep them out of heaven or anything, but, not really great for us as fans.
True.
But moving on to the AP poll, Ciarnan, where we're starting to see a little more stability, mainly just in the top 6, but it's fine. First up, others receiving votes: Navy at 86, Tulane with 59, Washington with 46, Iowa with 27, South Florida with 22, San Diego State with 14, LSU somehow with 11, James Madison with 9, North Texas with 4, Illinois with 3, and Pitt with 1. Ciarnan, thoughts on others receiving votes?
Navy and North Texas going to be a huge game this weekend.
True.
Oh, also, just real off the cuff thing, College Game Day, That's your game. That's the game that you should be going to. Just putting it out there. I know you're not, but for the love of God, that's the game you want.
Where are they going this week? Let's see. 4 hours ago. They're going to Cincinnati versus Utah. They didn't go for Holy War, but they'll go for 16 versus 24, Utah versus Cincinnati.
That's not the...
A day late.
Yeah, all right, fine, I get it. But, like, come on.
Day late and $1 short.
Yeah, seriously.
For game day. That's insane. Reese Davis did suggest they go to a D2 game in a couple weeks for the rivalry, the Battle of the Ravine between Wichita Baptist and Henderson State. It's first ever trip to a D2 campus, and they're right next door to each other. So
Perfect.
That'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah, that would have been great.
It's 2 weeks from now, or 2 weeks from Saturday. So there's a chance. Now on to the actual rankings. Memphis at 25, Utah at 24, USC at 23, Houston at 22, and Michigan up 4 to 21. Ciarnan, thoughts?
None.
No thoughts, just vibes. Same. Yeah, same. Next up, Texas at 20, moving up 2 spots. Mizzou down 4 to 19. Oklahoma down 5 to 18. Cincinnati up 4 to 17. Louisville up 3 to 16. I understand they're a big name brand, and Mississippi State is better this year. They're not a joke, but Texas did kind of need overtime to beat Mississippi State, and they have not looked great at any point this year. Why are they ranked 20?
Yeah, that's a great point.
Like, if you put them at 25, okay, fine. They're 6-2 in the SEC. You're going to be a little biased, but insanity. I don't have any other thoughts on this section of the ranking.
I will just say for the Cincinnati at 7-1, sitting pretty at 17. Luke Fickle is probably kicking himself right now. He's like, "Oh, I could have had that team."
That's true. They might have been better with him, and also they're in the Big 12 now. Why did he leave?
Yeah, I no idea.
All right. Moving on, Virginia moving up 1 spot to number 15 after struggling against Bill Belichick's UNC Tar Heels. Tennessee up 3 to number 14. Texas Tech up 1 to 13. Notre Dame still sitting at number 12 at 5-2, and BYU up 1 spot to number 11. Ciarnan, thoughts?
What is Notre Dame doing?
I can't tell with the AP poll if it's a right now thing or a predictor, because 5-2 Notre Dame, I understand that they're at 12. I understand why they're at 12. They should not have been at 12 this whole time. They should not have been ranked this whole time. They were not good to start the year. I'm okay with them being at 12 now.
Yes, that's fine.
Not okay with. Understand. I think it's a better way of putting it.
Yeah. But BYU at 10 is huge. 8-0.
They're at 11. The AP poll.
Excuse me. Sorry. Yep, I see that now.
Still huge.
Yeah, still huge.
Still huge. Tennessee or Virginia, only moving up 1 after going to overtime and beating the 9-time Super Bowl champion Bill Belichick. Insane. Top 10.
I don't know what they're doing so low.
Yeah, I don't know. It's insane. Next up, Miami dropping 1 spot to number 10. Vandy up 1 to number 9. Georgia Tech down 1 to number 8. Ole Miss up 1 to number 7. And then your top 6 are the same: Oregon, Georgia, Alabama, A&M, Indiana, and Ohio State. Huge Georgia Tech and Vandy, both top 10.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. I know they were both top 10 last week, but incredible.
Oh, no, it's still fantastic. I do have I have 2 questions for you, Kev. 1, Vanderbilt at Texas. Who do you have? Genuine. This is an SEC bias. I want to know what would hurt more, watching Sark win or watching Vandy climb up the rankings more.
So here's my thing. I don't hate Sark.
No. I'm not saying you do. I'm just saying.
So seeing him win wouldn't hurt necessarily.
Okay.
And also we beat Vandy, so if Vandy wins, that makes our resume look better. So
Good.
Vandy, I would like Vandy to win.
Mm-hmm.
I also trust Vandy to win more.
Yeah.
I trust Clark Lee and Diego Pavia to figure it out more than I trust Sark and Arch.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to ask was Ohio State versus Penn State this weekend, 1:00. Real quickly, shout out to Ohio State. And I know that sounds weird, but shout out to Ohio State. From what I can tell, they have had 2 games at the primetime slot, basically past 7:00. And they were against Ohio and Minnesota. Neither of those games I watched because there were other better primetime games on. Every other game that they've had, majority are at noon, and the majority, 2 of them were at 3:00. I apologize to Penn State, to Ohio State, for having continuously crap slots at the beginning of the day. So shout out to you guys. The other thing, genuine concern for Ohio State. And I say that not because that they're 7-0 or that they're playing at noon, is that because they are playing a Penn State team that is no longer coached by James Franklin. This is their worst nightmare. Because the only thing preventing us from beating them was James Franklin. So, quaking in their boots up at the shoe.
Yeah, I mean, that's the logic is sound, Kieran. I believe in Penn State this week. I actually do.
Yeah, it's a wild
I really
thing to
do,
say.
and you'll see just how much I believe in them, Kieran, when we get to our bets.
I was tempted. I was tempted myself, and I didn't go for it.
Oh, I did. I not a full set, a half set.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll take it.
We did a half set for the Nittany Lions here. But there's your AP poll, Kieran.
Yeah.
And we gave the little teaser, so now we're going to jump right into our bets. Our week 9 bets, Kieran, we did better than we have been doing.
Good.
I had Virginia over UNC. That's a win. I had Vandy -2.5 versus Mizzou. I'm 99% sure that's also a win. I know they did win, but I'm just double checking my work here. I don't want to. Yes. Yep. They won by 7. 2.5 points. That's all you need. I had Haynes King first touchdown scored versus Syracuse. That's not right. He did have the passing touchdown, but did not get the rushing. So does not work out for me, but 2 for 3 ain't bad. Kieran, you had Indiana versus UCLA. That's a win. You had Ole Miss +5.5 versus Oklahoma. That's a win. You had the first Toledo drive, turnover on downs, turnover or safety. That's such a fun bet. I did that a couple weeks ago too. Unfortunately, did not hit. So
Okay.
2 for 3, 4 for 6 is a show. That's
solid.
Improvement.
Yes, definitely.
We're not just hemorrhaging money anymore. Now we're just scrape kneeing money, I guess. Like there's a little blood, but it's not bad.
Yeah. I love the miscellaneous ones because when they hit, it's a rush. You're just like, oh yeah, I called that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's so fun. My miscellaneous this week is boring, but it's gonna hit, so I won't feel that same rush. But moving on, Cannon, to your weather report. Tell me, how's the weather looking in America?
Yes, so weather report is a little bit of an homage. The gales of November have started, and if you
came early,
they came early. They did come early. They if Central Michigan versus Western Michigan, it's going to be raining. It's going to be cold. Shout out to the Edmund Fitzgerald. The other game there is where is it? Yes, Mercyhurst University versus Sacred Heart up in Erie. That's gonna be a cold one. Rain pretty much all day. Again, as per usual, it's going to be raining in the Oregon, Washington area of the Rockies. So that's about standard for this. The only other thing I would like to see, which I don't think is really going to happen, is the Hurricane Melissa at the time of Saturday. It's going to drop down to like a category 1 or 2. So it's not going to be that strong, but it is going to bring rain to Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, but not really going to affect games. So there's your weather report.
Nice. Well, there you have it. Now let's get into our bets, Ciarnan.
Yeah, let's do it.
I have for my money line, I actually have Vandy over Texas at plus
nice.
120.
Nice.
I don't know why Texas is favored, but
I think it's at home. That's why.
Oh, yeah. No, that's 100% why. But who's your money line, Ciarnan?
I have Iowa State over Arizona State at minus 305. They're both 5-3, so it's going to be an interesting bout.
That's good. That's true. What's your spread?
My spread is Clemson to cover at plus 2.5 at minus 115. They're playing Duke.
I like it. I have Penn State plus 20.5 versus Ohio State.
Okay.
I've said before, these crazy spreads, you take the cover, and I still, they didn't see it last week, but I like the interim boost that a lot of teams get. They want to prove that it wasn't the coach, or it was the coach's fault. They're not bad players, and they're going to fight for a new guy. So give me Penn State to cover versus Ohio State at the shoe. And finally, my miscellaneous Navy's Blake Horvath anytime touchdown at minus 320. He has 12 rushing touchdowns on the year already. He is a quarterback. It's awesome. Haynes King's doing the same thing, but they're on a bye this week, so Blake Horvath got the sub on that one.
All right. My miscellaneous is the game that College Game Day should be going to, Navy versus North Texas. And the bet is any team to score more than, here's where I split. Should I do a safe win at 30 plus points at minus 1,000? Now, just for reference, I'll give you North Texas schedule and their scores for the first couple weeks, and then I'll give you Navy's, and I'll say the next bit of this. Okay, so North Texas won it versus Lamar 51-0. They won at Western Michigan 33-30. They won against Washington State 59-10. At Army 48-38, and these are all wins, by the way, versus Southern Alabama 36-22, and lost to Southern Florida 63-36. Won against UTSA 55-17, and won at Charlotte 54-20. Now, Navy's schedule. These are all W's so far because they're 7-0. They won against VMI 52-7, against UAB 38-24. Tulsa 42-23, Rice 21-13, Air Force 34-31, and Temple 32-31, and FAU 42-32. So the two bets are plus 30 at minus 1,000 or plus 40 at minus 125. So which one do you think I should go for?
Is it either team to score this much?
Your team any team to score more than 30 plus or more than 40 plus. Now, based on those score lines, what do you think?
Ciarnan, did you wake up feeling the cheesiest?
I did wake up feeling the cheesiest.
There's your answer, 40 plus.
40 plus. Here we go. Minus 125. It's going to be good.
Super risky. The
Don't
more
care.
the likely option.
Don't care.
Yeah.
We risk it on this.
I think 40 isn't a crazy number to hit, but also I don't think it's a lock. Both defenses have done pretty well. There were some legitimate teams in those lists. It wasn't just nobodies they were going up against. It's not like it's week 3 and they've played Colorado School of the Mines and some other garbage FCS program no one's ever heard of. Yeah. These are actual schools. Mm-hmm. So I like that one. That's a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Also, before we move on, we're going to step into the world of college basketball real quick.
All right.
We really go at schools for scheduling FCS teams sometimes. College basketball programs need to have some shame. There are so many opening the season against D2 competition. Have some shame, guys. My
Have some
God.
humility.
It's bad. And then if you lose, you look even worse.
Yeah, seriously.
But moving on to our mid teams, Ciarnan. How'd West Virginia do last week?
Better than expected. Now, they still lost, but it was better than expected because at least they put points on the board. And finally, I can say this with the utmost confidence. Finally, Scotty Fox, the quarterback for West Virginia, was above double digits. He hit triple digits. In fact, he hit 301 yards, passing yards with 2 TDs. He was 28 for 41, which frankly is a absolute move in the right direction. And if any of this continues, it's going to be great. Now, they did lose to the TCU 23-17, but that scoreline is far closer than they've been pretty much all season. So things are looking up for West Virginia.
That's fair. Things are not looking up for the Minutemen.
It's gone from bad to worse.
It really has. They looked like a competent team against Buffalo. They only lost 28-21, and Buffalo needed to score to end the game to win it. They needed 2-point conversion. So they didn't need a 2-point conversion, but they needed a late score, excuse me. The UMass turned around and immediately shit themselves against Central Michigan, losing 38-13. They are now 0-8 on the season and 0-4 in the MAC.
Oh.
And just so people remember, they played Bryant to start the year, and they are still 0-8. It's not 0-8 at the FBS. They are 0-8. They cannot beat Bryant. Let's read you some stats, Ciarnan.
Oh, boy.
Their quarterback, 176 yards and 1 interception. Honestly, you might be hearing that going, that's not bad for a UMass quarterback. A.J. Hairston has not played. Yeah, he threw the ball 51 times.
Oh, shit.
He was 21 for 58. That's a 3.5-yard average and an 11.5 QBR.
Oh,
UMass, as a team, 116 yards on the ground and a touchdown. That's not bad. That's really good for how they've been doing. Rocco Griffin, 7 carries, 56 yards, 1 touchdown, 8 yards per carry. That's not bad. Now, 43 of that did come on 1 run, but still better than expected. Yeah, except UMass gave up 279 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Now, Central Michigan did run the ball 53 times while only passing it 13 times, but 2 of those 13 attempts did result in a touchdown or 2 touchdowns. Yeah. And they only had 1 incompletion. So UMass is still terrible. And there's nothing good going for it. Nothing good has ever happened on a football field in Amherst, Massachusetts. And I cannot wait for the season to be over so I can stop pretending to give a shit about this abysmal excuse for a football team.
Oh, boy. You got to pick better teams, buddy.
No, the teams I pick need to do better.
Okay. Right. Yes, of course.
That's just, you know what, Ciarnan? I've watched teams I have watched have got a combined 0 for 20 over the past 2 years. My mid team next year is going to be whoever wins the national title. I've earned it.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. That's fair.
No, I'll probably pick someone. I'm going to pick someone like, I think I talked about doing Bowling Green this year, but I was like, they were like 5-7 or something last year. That's not quite mid enough. I'm going to pick one of those teams, and they're going to have a collapse, the likes of which the world has never seen.
Well, actually, before we get to the last topic, why not pick a bowl eligible team already this year? Kennesaw State, 6-2. They just won 33-20 against UTEP. So that might be your mid team next year.
No, I still have beef with Kennesaw State.
No, I know you do, but it would be funny to watch them collapse again.
That's true. That Brian Bohannon, revenge for Brian.
Yes.
Look, it might have been the right call based on what they're doing, but I still think it was ridiculous. Maybe I'll do UAB next year.
Ooh.
Trent's gone.
Yeah, but UAB is trash. Like, you need to pick a mid team. When we said mid teams, I meant like 6-6 or 7-6, not 0-4 or 14.
Karen, I
Like,
talked about picking an FCS school for this.
that's not the point. All right. Anyway, moving on.
I just think it's funnier when they're really bad because I get really worked up about it. I want to talk about the Alabama game real quick.
Okay.
Before we get into Luke Fickle's shopping list, the one thing I want to say about Alabama is it's over for y'all bitches. Alabama is back. We lose that game last year. 10 times out of 10, we lose to South Carolina in a game like that.
Oh, yeah.
The team kept fighting. Ty Simpson has the team rolling with Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer is no longer Mr. Nice Guy. He is getting on people's asses. It's over. Y'all are done. The Tide is back on top. All right. Moving on to Luke Fickle's shopping list. Now, Wisconsin, for some reason, still has not fired Luke Fickle. I don't know why. I don't know what I'm going to do when they do fire him. Am I just going to keep doing this? Am I going to pick a new coach? Is the segment done for the year? I have not made a decision yet. That's something that me and the Tailgate on the Quad team will have to talk about, and that is the Tailgate on the Quad team is me, Ciarnan, and my wife. So we'll figure that out as we go. But for now, a little shorter one this week, just with the buy. With his buyout of $25 million, Luke Fickle could buy 893,176 cans of Spotted Cow at $27.99 for a 24-pack. Spotted Cow, for those who do not know, is a very famous beer from Wisconsin. I think it might only be available like in Wisconsin in the immediate surrounding area. So that's fun. And then I got weird with it. I went through weird laws in Wisconsin and just kind of did it after that. He could buy 4,215,851 tubs of margarine. And that is because a restaurant in Wisconsin cannot serve margarine unless specifically requested, which I thought was interesting.
That is interesting.
He could adopt, and it's quote unquote adopt. It's one of those like you give shelter or an animal sanctuary some money and they take care of the animals on your behalf. He could adopt 1 million squirrels at the E.O. Wilson Biophilia Center in Florida because it's illegal to worry a squirrel in La Crosse, Wisconsin.
When I first read that, I was like, it's illegal to own a squirrel. I'm like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. But I just didn't actually read what it says. It's illegal to worry a squirrel. Well, you go boo behind a tree and it just scatters.
No, I think it's just
$10 million fine, sir.
I think it's just a like worry in the sense like if they saw how I was living my life before I met my wife. I think that's it. Like it was concerning. I hadn't been to a doctor in a decade, so the squirrel was probably very worried. No, it's like worry/disturb. So I think it's just one of those things. Like if you go to a squirrel and like yell at it or throw something at it, I think it's just an old timey word for disturb. And finally, 2,274,795 snowball molds at $10.99 at Walmart because it is illegal to throw them at people or buildings in Wausau. I kept wanting to say Warsaw, but that's not how you pronounce that. Either of those words. So we're gonna go with Wausau. If you know how to pronounce that, please give me the phonetic spelling of that town because my God, Wausau. I'm just gonna stop trying. But also, why do they hate fun? Why can't kids throw snowballs? What tragic accident happened?
You know, it was just some dick who like had a legislative like vote, and you know, some kids pelted him with snowballs in like 1913 outside his manor, and he's like, "Oh, no fun anymore." I guarantee you, that's what it was.
I feel like it was either that or local children were putting rocks and snowballs and throwing them at people in homes.
Is this a grenade? If you don't get that reference, go back about 20 years of YouTube binging videos.
Wausau actually looks like a pretty decent area.
So it's definitely
cold, but
it's definitely my one then.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I don't know. Kids get into mischief. La Crosse also looks like a nice area. Is Michigan I keep saying Michigan? Is Wisconsin just like nice?
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it's very nice.
Are there any bad parts of Wisconsin?
Oh, I'm sure there are, but It's too cold for most people to live up there. That's why it's so nice.
That's true. Ooh, these are the top 10 worst cities in Wisconsin. Okay, we're going to go through this real quick.
All right.
Top 10 worst cities in Wisconsin. Racine. The video, all right, so this video tags, I'm not playing that. Refers to this town as crummy, sadly, with high unemployment and crime rates. It's number 10. Antigo. Crime rate is usually top 3 of the state with 1 in 19 chance of being robbed each year. Wapaka. Poor income rates, below state average school spending. Wisconsin Rapids. Ranked below average on every single category. Marinette, geographically the top of the great state is Marinette. Compared to other cities in town, it ranks low in greatness. According to the video, it was once the 10th largest city in Wisconsin. Now it has low school funding rankings and home prices. Milwaukee, it's a city. There's going to be crime. It's a city. Rhinelander. Loss of local manufacturing and mining jobs kept the spot from boosting its economy and helping its citizens. Poorest part of the state. Merrill. High in crime and unemployment. Low for home value and education. Beloit. A lot of jobs shipped overseas. And Superior, Wisconsin. Industrial town, many jobs left, high crime and low number of sunny days also gets a spot for number 1 placement. So there are some not great areas, but also Milwaukee is just a city. So, yeah. There you have it. I don't know. I don't think we needed to go through that, Ciarnan, but I'm glad we did.
Yes, it's enlightening.
But yeah, so everyone, that's our show. Quick housekeeping. Ciarnan will not be here next week. He is abandoning me like my parents, but he will come back.
Yes.
Unlike my mom. So I'll have a fill-in. We're still going to do an episode. I'm going to find a guest host. I still have to do that. I probably should have done that already, but it's fine. We'll find someone. I'm going to ask them to either put on a wig or dye their hair red so I don't feel too shocked about it, but we'll get a co-host. We'll get an episode out, and then Ciarnan will be back the following week. So everyone have a good, safe, fun weekend, and don't do anything I wouldn't do.
There you go. See ya.
They're eating the dogs, Ciarnan, in Tuscaloosa.
They're eating the
dogs.
dogs.
You know that?
They were
They're
eating
the dogs.
Oh, a meth raccoon.
Yeah.
Just awful. There is nothing good about this. It's the worst possible scenario for the CFP, for the national championship.
Notre Dame is a mid-program with really good marketing.
And the Michigan players are going to look at that, and anybody who's committing to Michigan in the next years will just go, I want to beat them even more. Like, I wanted to beat them when I first came to the school. Recruits are going to see this.
You have, as some fans have put it, a mascot flashing their pop tussie out.
Oh, God, that's going to be part of our intro next year. Oh, shit.